What is going on, everybody? I hope that you're having a good evening, and I hope that you had a great week. So, today, 10 things to know before you start the journey. 10 things from a personality like me, laid back person, um, learning how to deal with myself as I grow, getting older in age. How do I deal with myself? Because a lot of times before you start anything, you have to make sure that you're able to deal with yourself either before, throughout, or even to the completion of the journey that you want to start. These are just 10 things. I could give you 10 more, but I'm just going to give you 10 right now. So let's get into the first one. You will always be responsible for you, whether you agree with it or not. Just be aware. When you become an adult, I had to learn this. Everything I do, every choice I make, I am responsible for, whether it's good or bad, whether it's indifferent, whether it's the I had to do what I had to do. It does not take away the responsibility of what that choice or decision was. You have to know that when you become an adult. You can't escape it, accountability. And if you try to dodge it, it'll only make things worse because how do you know it's time to pivot if you're not accountable enough to say, I'm not in the right place I need to be? So just know being free comes with responsibility. If anybody want to listen to that, and freedom comes with responsibility, and just be aware of that. Learning objectivity. Let's talk about that. Being objective. One of the best things you can learn when you're young, growing into an adult, is learn how to be objective. And it says being objective means approaching a situation with an impartial and neutral mindset. A lot of times there are a set of people they don't like objectivity. They want you to be subjective. People that like to gossip, they want you to be subjective about what they're telling you. They don't want you to be objective and ask them questions to get to the facts. But you have to. This is my tip to you: learn how to be objective as you can, because when you're objective, you can see things in people for who they really are. But because you're objective, it won't affect you. You just know how to deal with them. It says focusing on facts and evidence rather than personal feelings, biases, and opinions. Some people don't understand how objective people operate and they don't like it because they don't operate from a place of personal feelings, bias, or opinions. It offends a lot of people. Why? Because you're not taking their side. You're trying to see what's real, what's not, feelings not involved. A lot of times, a lot of people just don't like objectivity all the time, or not a lot of it, unless it benefits them. But when you're objective, it's not about your benefit. It's not about who's right and what's wrong. You're trying to find out what's really going on. Because when you're objective, you may find out that the person that you covering may be bogus, but they're trying to paint the picture like the other person's bogus. One of your bros, like your buddy, telling you this person did this, but what he not telling you is he just robbed them the other day. You can still roll with your homeboy that robbed another day, but I think that's important to be objective to understand the reason why this situation is the way that it is because of something that guy X did. It involves considering all sides of an issue and avoiding emotional interpretations to make a fair and rational decisions or form judgment. You have to learn how to make fair and rational decisions as an adult. It's best to avoid emotional interpretations because emotions change. Sometimes you don't get all the facts at one time, and if you make a decision too fast, you find out it's too late. Happens all the time dealing with humans. Making rational decisions. If you somebody like I was, I had to go through a lot of irrational things that I brought on myself to get to the point where I can make fair and rational decisions or form judgments. In life, you have to make judgments. You have to. If you don't, you end up around the wrong people. If you don't make judgments with rational decisions, you can end up in the wrong circumstance, in the wrong situation. And if you don't avoid emotional interpretations, you will find yourself in situations you don't want to be in. So you have to manage your emotions with emotional intelligence. Avoid making irrational decisions. Lean more towards the rational decisions. And form judgments that make sense. That gives you an advantage in life. So, with that being said, let's go to the next slide. Being able to evaluate yourself if you don't have a support system. Not the easiest thing to do. But as a person who lost his dad at a young age, I had to learn how to evaluate myself. Because if you depend on other people, this is just my opinion, they're going to evaluate you on what their experiences are and things that they do and how they operate. May not be the same way you operate. It's good to have feedback, but at the end of the day, you make the final decision. So you have to evaluate yourself. Sometimes you get to moving around so much. I know I did. I was moving around so much in my younger years until I got to that point where I can evaluate myself. I was moving too fast. Some people say you're moving too fast. You don't know what you're doing. You have to sit down. Where am I right now? What do I want to be in the next 5 years? And if what I'm doing, is it conducive? Is it productive? Is it bringing me value? Some things you do does not bring you value, but you have to be able to determine that and make that judgment. Am I bringing value to myself? Am I making good decisions? Am I handling my business? You have to be able to make those kind of decisions. Can you admit to your own mistakes and make corrections in order to grow and develop? There are a number of people in the real world as real humans that struggle with this. I think every human struggles with this until you can get over that hump. Can you admit to your own mistakes and not blame anybody else? Well, I did this because of X. I did this because of Y. Can you tell yourself, I put myself in this situation, nobody else? I had a chance to not engage. I had a chance to not react. I had a chance to think my way through it and not do that random thing that caused me to make a mistake. And granted, everybody makes different mistakes based on their personality. So it's not good to look at other people's mistakes or hold it over their head, because when you make a mistake, you're going to want that same courtesy. And sometimes you may not get it. But if you can admit to your own mistakes, repent, make corrections, and turn from that, that's how you grow and develop. But in order to grow and develop, you have to admit to yourself, I messed up right here. I got to make that correction. Sometimes this what life's all about, making those adjustments and corrections. But can you admit to yourself your own mistakes? I do it all the time. Like, I got to get better here. I got to get better here. I got to tighten up here and tighten up here. Can you admit to yourself? It's not easy, but I'm telling you, if you get to that point, you'll be surprised how far you can go. Can you figure something new out without guidance on your own experience? As an adult, when you take on a family as a man, you become a husband, you become a father, there will be a lot of new situations that come. And you may have to figure some of those things out without another human guiding you. You may have to get wisdom from God. I'm a witness to that. You have to get wisdom from God, and you might have to glean on your experiences. How do you combine it together to get something done? Sometimes it's a patience thing. Sometimes it's incremental, a little bit at a time. And sometimes you got to get it done right now. Having a skill level to get it done. Being able to figure out something new will make you a valuable person, especially if you want to be legit. You want to be in the corporate world, being able to figure stuff out. Don't focus on the problem, focus on finding the solution. Focus on finding the solution. Are you able to let things go without holding grudges or holding things over another person's head? This is hard sometimes to do, but I'm telling you, if you can get there, take a lot of mental exercise. Um, Especially if you haven't been taught it at an early age, you have to take on this concept as you get older. But it can be done. And what I'm saying is, if you want to be able to go to the next level in life, there's levels to this thing. You have to be able to not hold grudges and let things go. You have to. Your health is more important. Your mental sanity is more important. It's hard to develop and hold on to things at the same time, because you can't think about, most of the time, think about two things. You have to pick one. And your brain, to me, this is just my opinion, your brain is like a hard drive. How much space did you have in your brain, and what are you giving it to? Here's the thing about dealing with another human, right? What you got to think about. A lot of times people are dealing with their own internal issues, and a lot of times you're not battling per se with the person, you're battling with their internal issues. Same way with you. Internal issues you have may be the root cause of the argument, and you don't even realize it till you're like, why am I really arguing? Why am I really upset? Why am I really frustrated? But you have to be able to deal with yourself. And that's hard for some people to do sometimes. And unfortunately, that's why you have to be objective, is because people are dealing with things internally that they haven't dealt with or resolved, and they're still living and taking on different things in life with those unresolved issues. So when people come into their path, they feel the wrath of that. But when you have the resolve and you know that within your spirit and your wisdom that you didn't do anything wrong, you have to be able to let it go, pray for that person, and move on. Arguments are not worth it. If you can come to a resolution, instead of arguing for 30 minutes or an hour or hours, just get to the resolution. Why are we really arguing? What is the problem? How do we get to a resolution? And sometimes you have to compromise, especially when you're in a relationship with another person. Compromise because they are not you, you are not them, but there is a space in the middle if you both allow that and you can resolve those issues. But holding on to grudges, I've seen it. People, health decline because they're holding on to a grudge. Mentally, they be in weird places or negative spaces because they holding on to a grudge. Some people end up doing, evil things or because they feel like they have to give back. But I'm telling you, when you're dealing with people, it's just part of dealing with humans. People will offend people. You will offend people. I have offended people, and you will be offended as well. That's why it's not good to hold grudges. Because what if somebody holding grudges on you? Well, what if you offended somebody and they didn't tell you, but you offended them and they held on to that? And if you don't evaluate yourself enough, you won't even think you offended anybody. But I'm here to tell you, it's impossible to go through life and everybody likes you. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. And if you've seen it, let me know. I haven't seen it yet. There will always be people that don't like you. Why is it like that? I don't know. Human thing, right? But at the end of the day, you have to like you. You have to Mike has to like Mike. I have to be responsible for what Mike does, good, bad, and ugly. I don't know if anybody is 100% good. It's just you have more control, or your good outweighs the bad. But I'm pretty sure, no people don't like talking about it, but we all did some stuff that's out of bounds, though. It's just how being human works sometimes, unfortunately. This is the big thing, especially to my young people out there that's about to be an adult. You have to understand that things are not fair. Learn the game and adjust accordingly, and find your advantages and focus on what you can control. Things are not fair. There are double standards. They are real. Some people have advantages. Some people have head starts. Some people don't. Race, it exists. It's real. Nepotism is real. Bias, real. Stereotypes, real. But when you make the adjustments according to what game is being played, that's when you start finding your advantages. And once again, it doesn't matter sometimes how you feel. It's not going to change the game that's being played. You may not like it. It may not feel good, but you can still counter. But you got to get past whatever you feel is unfair, or just get past the feeling and then go play ball, counter it. They want to run defense, what's your best offense? They want to run offense, what's your best defense? Adjust accordingly. Find your advantages. What makes you good? What separates you from the pack? I'm telling you from experience, if you increase your skills, you'll find that even the people that do stuff unjustly or unfair, they will have to recruit you because some skills you can't find around the corner and under a rock. It's a real legit skill, and only certain people have that skill. That's why it's important to get skills. All right. Try your best not to get caught up in misinformation or wavy trends that fade fast. A lot of times when you in different communities, misinformation runs rampant. It travels faster than correct information. Unreal, but it's true. You have to have a filter. That's why you have to educate yourself so you can't be misinformed. When you educate yourself, it's hard for somebody to finesse you in something that you educate yourself in and you're knowledgeable about. Don't allow people to throw you off or cause you to go a different direction based on misinformation. Like now, people say you don't need education. Misinformation. If you do not educate yourself in something when you graduate high school, there are so many paths you can educate yourself in. It's not just a degree. But if you don't do the research and find it, you're going to find yourself in this minimum to about maybe 45 box or something like that, 1,000 box, salary box that you can't get out of because you don't have the experience or the education. Another misinformation, people say you can do it without the degree. What I would tell you is look at the percentages of people who get successful without the degree. What fields are they in? What area do they live in? Most of the time, if you don't get a degree, or if you don't get some kind of vocation or trade or any kind of skill, you're going to find yourself stuck in a box. I've been there. That's why I'm in school right now. So don't get caught up in misinformation. And then wavy trends that fade fast. You have to be careful. Find what fits you, find what works for you, and don't get caught in the trend. It's like with social media now, trends pop up all the time. Like people talking about Dave Ramsey. If you really sit back and listen to it, he makes total common sense out of financial information. Some people can't accept it because it's coming from him. But if you listen to it, just listen to the audio. Don't even look at the video. Listen to the audio. It makes sense. But there's a wave and a trend. People saying that his stuff don't work for black people. When he's making financial literacy for anybody, you just have to have enough sense and wisdom to just say and listen to it. Once again, don't get caught up in the misinformation because it can set you back for years. My last slide. I think this is the last one. I'm about to get off here. They told me bust out my AP. Perfect time, man. Are you willing to go on the journey if you are the only person on the road. There are times in your life that you will take on a journey or take on a task and nobody else is going to go with you. Nobody else is going to cheerlead you. Nobody else is going to wave the pom poms. They may even scoff at it because they don't understand it. But are you going to let that stop you from going down the journey that's going to bring you success? Sometimes it may take you a couple tries to get in the door. That's fine, as long as you get in there. Don't allow people to throw you off the journey because it may be difficult for them, but it may not be that for you. People may not agree with it. Let your results do the talking. Remember, Jesus died on the cross. They watched him die. They seen him cry out to God. And it took a Roman soldier to poke his side with a spear and say, "This is the Son of God." Think about that. The journey that Jesus took to get to the cross, down the cross for us. And he watched it, and it took Jesus to bleed out, give his soul up to God for that Roman soldier to say, "This was the Son of God." What am I saying? In life, people will watch you phase out, they'll watch you burn out, they'll watch you bleed out until they say, "You know what? He was solid. He actually was on the right path." But you have to have the internal strength to go down the journey, even if you're the only person on the road. Not easy to do, but that's where you got to get to mindset wise, because you don't want to get caught up in the herd mentality and do what everybody else is doing. You want to find that lane that works for you, gives you the best chance of success, and always stay on top of keeping yourself evaluated, keeping yourself in a great place mentally, spiritually, and physically. This is Mike from CTM TV. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Thinking Game Podcast, CTM Sports, and things I bring on like this. 10 things to know before you start the journey. I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and I am signing out.
Tiger knee.